Good afternoon, wherever you may be. Perhaps wherever you are, it's a little warmer there, enjoying the sunshine. And I'm reading a great post today from Dr. David Hawkins, and he was referring to, on the map of consciousness, 80% of the world's population vibrates under the feeling of courage. So it means that 80% of the world's population are vibrating and energetically locked into the frequencies of shame, guilt, anger, desire, fear, pride. There's a few other juicy feelings. And in order to attract the better, you cannot override the subconscious by consciously thinking of a new program. It'll work for a bit, and I guarantee you that I share this from my own experience, that the subconscious, it runs everything, and you cannot simply override it. And in the last few years, we're now elevated to a new frequency from the universe. And it's an opportunity, and as a massive, I'd say it's a game changer, and as an abrupt one from the universe, as it elevates. The universe itself does not operate in this low frequency energy. When we show up here, we're volunteering on behalf of the soul to say, hey soul, I'll volunteer on your behalf. Because the soul itself, depending on it, there can be a multitude of different facets with this. What I'm referring to is when the soul, from my experience, when it shows up here, it's saying, hey, I'm coming to this 3D realm, and we're coming here to graduate and up level from this 3D realm. So it's not to escape, it's not to go into the 5D, the 6D, or the 7th dimension. It is a clear intention and a chief aim, where I'd say as a goal, attaining it and being it 100%. What the soul is asking for is, when we show up here, and what Dr. David Hawkins was referring to is that 80% of the world's population, they're below the feeling or below the frequency energy of the feeling of courage. Now that's a tough one, because when people get stuck, they get stuck, and I was one of them when I got stuck. And at one point I mastered very, very well, even with a 6-figure job, a great career job at one point. And then I found out in my 30s, energetically it was also affecting my health. And the moment I started releasing the energy that was underneath the feeling of anger, so you have things like grief, sadness, and guilt's a nasty one, shame's another one. And these are all inherited energies that the soul has accumulated, not just from this lifetime, but from many, many other past lifetimes. And energetically, the soul is a massive entity which keeps us alive while we're physically here, as we volunteer on behalf of the soul showing up here. And the soul cannot energetically sever the cords on the other side or release these negative entanglements, because it's spiritual. So when we show up here as a spiritual being, as a human soul living this physical realm, we're coming here to energetically say, thank you for the experience. We're coming here to do whatever we need to do, and without being stuck from any of the interferences or the entanglements from the past. And the moment those energies, once we acknowledge them through a guided meditation, you can go in there very, very quickly now and pull out the whole string of the mess. So everything from the childhood experience, the memories from the past, I say anything that haunts one from the past. Whether myself there, I had a fear of speaking, getting out there, and really being authentic and being true to me. And I had mastered well as a commercial pilot, so I'm a firm believer in an aiming high in life with whatever it is. But I also knew that at one point I wasn't going to mask it either, because at one point the only person I was fooling was me. And I got lucky with it that in my 20s or early 30s I still wasn't ready for it. And then when the universe knocked on my door, I was like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I've experienced life, and I experienced several other things, and things got real. And at that point I made a decision, I made an ultimatum that, okay, this is my big push for this. And the moment I gave up that security that I had, or that financial aspect of it, where it was enticing, and I decided I'm going to step into the unknown with this. And then from there, the feeling, you cannot escape the feeling, because it doesn't matter the culture, the race, the background. Anger's anger, joy is joy. And I think we can all share or we can all agree upon, be a better choice of words, that when you see a dog and we see an animal, and when they sense everything, they're aware when the owner shows up, they're aware when the owner's in a good mood, they're aware when the family's there, when things are going well. There's an energy. That energy, you cannot fudge it. So when we show up here, we ourselves have the same opportunity. And I simply wasn't aware of this information. I was ignorant at one point about a lot of things, and then step by step, when the universe gave me the ultimatum as a point, hey, you can turn things around, I decided, well, I got nothing to lose with this. And I found out that as I started to release these negative frequencies, these entanglements, they're like invisible anchors. But they may be physically invisible, but on the inside, they're the real thing. So going forward, what I found out is we all have those blocks on the inside. And what the soul's asking is to release those things so you can naturally vibrate into the higher feelings. As the birthright's being happy, being joyful, and being fulfilled. So it's not just for certain people or certain groups of people, or someone's lucky, that may have a tiny part of it, is to really live an authentic life, being happy. And we're in a tough school ground here, so I found that as a really, really great life assessment. And I've learned that for every year as I've grown older or wiser with it, there's a new level of maturity, and the old keys don't open up new doors. So we're in this new consciousness, and the new consciousness, in order to tap into it, is to sever the old 3D emotional entanglements. And then learning it's a process. It's like going to school, it's like taking an apprenticeship. It's giving that 100% focus or drive, with whatever you want to call it, and then working in harmony with the laws of the universe. As there is laws with this, you can study anything. There's a lot of people that talk about it. And then in this physical realm, it was my responsibility to change the way I was thinking mentally and emotionally, because it's the emotional charge that keeps that belief system in place. And anytime I didn't like a belief system, I had to go back on the inside, and through a guided meditation, I had to identify positive, I'm going to keep that. But what's the feeling underneath it that's either keep me blocked or stuck? And the moment I went underneath it and I started to unplug it, saying, I don't need this anymore. And we all have, you want to call them spiritual guides, or we have an identical self from the other side, from the light. This is key here, it's all from the light. When we show up here, we're never here on our own. So we're always being watched from the other side. And as a reminder, the soul that keeps us alive here, we volunteer on behalf of the soul. It's the life force that's keeping us alive while we're physically here. And there's that binding agreement with the soul, with the universe, that at one point when we do leave here, and I'll share with you openly that depending on whatever the life experience is, whether it's an easier one, whether it's a harder one, or a tough one, I think at some point all of us go through either the feeling of grief or loss or guilt. It's a natural human thing. We all go through this. The thing is, the soul saying, hey, while you're still physically here, can you do the soul a favor and can you unplug all this? And then when it's physically unplugged from this realm, this physical realm, this is where the soul, on its side, the soul's stuck with these negative frequencies. The universe itself operates in a way higher frequency. When we're coming into this earthy realm, we're coming here to learn and grow and graduate and up level from the 3D entanglements. And it's not with spiritually bypassing it, it's to go back inside, clearing out the foundation. And when the foundation's solid, then you can up level. And it's not just up leveling physically, it's up leveling energetically, emotionally, mentally, and being embodied with higher dimensional energies. So it's a pretty cool and it's a fascinating experience. And my wishes or my intention is that we can get just one person per family. This is a lofty goal. Get one person per family. They're willing to take a chance on themselves and say enough's enough, and I'm willing to take a chance on me, and then unplugging whatever's underneath the bottom. You can literally change things very, very quickly. And that's what eradicate a lot of programs. So it took me a while to figure that out. It took me a while to put two and two together with that. So That's my thought for today, and wishing you a wonderful day wherever you may be. Enjoy the day and enjoy the sunshine or the rain, wherever it may be. Be kind with yourself, treat each other well. Until next time, take care.